Oh, first person in. Wow. Damn. No, never mind. There's 6 people here. Hey, can you guys like leave some? Can you guys talk in the chat just so I can make sure that? Oh, hey. Okay. Hey, it's going. What's up, man? How's it going? Billy Gagliardo. So I'm bored, and I just decided to go live while I suck at playing Final Fantasy 14. This is what I decided to do with my Saturday. So what's up, guys? How's everybody's Saturday going? By the way, I have not a fucking clue about what I'm going to talk about, so unless you guys start popping off in chat, I have nothing to talk about. Hi, Adam. Can you comment on collagen in the context of PE? Does it help or does it have the opposite effect? Okay, so thing about collagen consumption in the context of PE is that there are some people who have this idea. I'm gonna fix this real quick because this is bullcrap. There's some people who have this idea that we should like limit collagen intake for the purposes of PE. And the thing that I have to kind of say, because I feel like this is a topic that's gotten a lot of attention lately. The thing that I have to say about like collagen consumption in regards to PE is that we have way more things going on in our body than just penis enlargement endeavors. And so the fact of the matter is, while supplementing with collagen may potentially, and there's no evidence to this, supplementing with collagen may potentially be detrimental for PE. The fact is that being deficient in collagen is way more fucking detrimental for like life in general. And so it's just one of these things where I don't think it's responsible. I don't think it's good for you to forego collagen for the sake of PE. Because again, you're talking about a necessary nutrient for like the function of everything in our body, and you're talking about potentially depriving yourself of that for maybe getting better results in PE, and that's not an okay trade-off. Like, it's just not all right. So that's my answer. I know that that's not really a satisfying answer, but like to summarize, I'll basically say it's irresponsible for you to deprive yourself of a necessary nutrient like collagen for the sake of it, the fact that it may make your PE experience a little bit better or easier. I don't know that it will. Nobody knows that it will or won't. That's just it's just kind of like a thing that has come up recently. It's like a thought process that like we think it may have something to do with PE, but yeah, I don't know, dude. It's very much one of these situations where it's like we've got bigger things going on than just PE, so we gotta AK egghead. You're calling me egghead? Are you like picking on me because I'm bald as if I don't know that? Like, Like seriously, is that what you're doing? You're saying okay, egghead, because I'm bald, because that's offensive to me somehow. You don't think I fucking know that I'm bald? I don't know. I shaved my head, by the way. I can actually grow hair. I just hate body hair. Playing Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 14 is it's the online one. It's the MMO. Um, so yeah, I like it. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. Huge Final Fantasy fan. I have played all of them. So, is taping necessary for ADS vacuum cups since the tension is low? It's not necessary. I mean, the biggest thing that I think you have to worry about, like with ADS, is the fact that when you're using an ADS, it's closer to your body, and so it's going to be a little bit warmer because the cup is going to be sitting against your body, and um, presumably a lot of people are going to be wearing this like underclothes, so you have the cup right next to your body and clothes on top of it, so it may get warm. So yeah, I mean, blistering is a real thing that may happen. It's not even the tension in that case; it's like the length of time, plus the fact that, like I said, you are heating it up, and heat is a recipe for blisters. Are you Mexican? I'm not Mexican. My father's from Colombia, South America, so I'm not Mexican though. Um, do you play Call of Duty, bro? I suck. The thing is, I loved Call of Duty like back when Black Ops was first a thing. Like so, Black Ops and Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 was my jam, but I sucked at it. I'm not good at FPS. Like I'm not like fast on controllers and shit. Like I don't do that. So I like games where I can think and just like kind of so like strategy games like RPGs, and Final Fantasy 14 is the first MMO that I've really like played and stuck with to like end game. But yeah, everything else is just like tactical tactical games, games where I can really think, take my time. Best method of measuring BPSFL. I feel like my measurements are terrible. Okay, so go look at. There's a post that I made talking about that exact thing. It's like more precise measurements on like, or more precise guidelines on like how to measure and stuff. So go look through like my Reddit, um, and you'll see it. So, how long does it take to see erect length gains? Man, it can take a while, and that's why paying attention to your bone press stretch flaccid length is honestly going to be better for you overall, because your erect length is simply a lagging measurement. Your erect length is always going to be like way behind. So I've got guys who have been working with me for 3 months now, for as long as I've been coaching, and some of them have put on 2 centimeters or more on their bone press stretch flaccid length, and I'd say they're seeing probably half that in erect length now, like most of them. So, oh, Forsaken, dude, that's a good question. Okay, so Forsaken said, I'm currently losing weight. I have a big fat pad. What do I do when I get really lean, but I still have a big fat pad? What are my next options? Okay, so your fat pad and your like, so your peri-umbilical area, that is to say, like around your belly button and like this low, sort of torso area, the fat accumulation on your lower belly is predominantly dictated by your level of cortisol. Um, if you have big fat love handles, it's like you have insulin sensitivity issues. And then if you have like fat on your lower body or your lower belly, then that's indicative that you have cortisol issues. So three things that you can work on Forsaken are sleep, sex, and meditation. Like nothing is better than getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep, having lots of sex, and meditation. And meditation doesn't have to be this like long drawn out thing. Like you can literally just do 10 minutes of mindfulness, like first thing when you wake up. And there's a profound impact on your hormones, like after you do that. So yeah. Y'all are gonna y'all are gonna make me die. Y'all are gonna fuck me up. I can't do any like dungeons or anything when I do this because I'm terrible at multitasking. So, uh, what would be the min to max percentage for pre and post length should I be aiming for? I just made a video on that, dude, and I explained it way better in the video than I can right here. So, if you're watching this still, Daniel Remy, go watch the video that I made. 6 minute long video, and it actually explains this concept way, way, way better. So, thoughts on 2 days on, 1 day off? That's what I eventually gravitated toward, was 2 days on, 1 day off. So I think it's fine. I think it's perfectly fine. I have another question about decon. I exercise 5 days a week and then 2 days off. Should I decon every few months? No, not unless you need it. And you shouldn't need it if you're training intelligently, because a decon is really just for when you have fucked yourself into a corner of like you can't go up on weight and you can't go up on time anymore feasibly, like it's not a reality for you to do so. So decons are not necessary if you train intelligently. Decons are for when you have dug yourself into a hole and you can no longer make progress because you have just densified the tissues and shit. Boss Pops asks, very important question. I've been trying to fill the sausage for so long doing perf pumping, following your recommendation, but my BPEL stays the same. BPFSL does increase. What to do? Help. Well, first of all, you haven't been doing perf pumping for so long, because I only actually started talking about that idea on the Hink podcast, or on the Hink live, and that hasn't been so long ago. So have you been doing it longer than that? Have you been doing it longer than I've talked about it? Because like that was the first time I mentioned it out loud. Before then, I had just been doing it with my personal training clients. So if you guys want to know something really funny, my name is actually Perv McSwerve in Final Fantasy 14, and it is an MMO, so I'm playing with other people, so everybody calls me Perv. And it's always funny because like in the in-game dialogue, they use your name, so they'll be like, "Oh, you're the world's greatest hero, Perv," and it just makes me laugh a little bit. I just think it's funny. Oh, did Hank do a live earlier? Okay, I didn't see that. I did not see that. Uh, Ham Ham Zahak. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Hamzak, maybe. Would ADS vacuum hanging and vacuum pumping 30 minutes a day be enough? Like 30 minutes total or 30 minutes each? Because like vacuum pumping 30 minutes a day is enough to see gains. Like that's been proven. It's just very slow. Yeah, it's enough. It's like the question is that going to be optimal for you? Is that going to be as fast as possible? But I mean, if that's just as much as you can do, then that's just as much as you can do. So like, what other options are there? If you can only devote 30 minutes a day to doing this, then that's all you can do. Like you can't do more. So I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't see the point in me being like, what am I going to do? Be like, no, that's not enough. Like rearrange your entire life so that you can make this happen, you know, and do like 40 hours a day. That's dumb. So yeah, you're doing good. Oh, Carl, dude, what's up, dog? Um, okay. So Carl says, "What's up? You have a measurement-based approach to dialing in the right amount of tension and weight for length work. Don't you think the same is necessary for girth work? What's the equivalent?" All right. So, yes. The reason I don't talk about girth work so much is because I spent my entire PE journey trying not to gain girth. So, like, I actually did not want to gain any girth. I actually started out huge in girth. Like my girth was statistically like way above where my length was when I started. So I did everything I could to not gain girth and then still ended up gaining like half of an inch in girth. Um, it seems like everybody says that they're 6.5 midsection erect girth. It's like all these guys that are just like flexing their size. They're like, oh yeah, like I'm 6.5, you know, midsection girth. And the thing I can actually prove it. I actually have photos of it. And I feel like while you may be able to like fuck around and like fudge the numbers on length, like you can't really I've measured my girth on videos to try to like show people like this is I'm not exaggerating and I'm not like it's not something I even wanted and like I'm not gonna be like oh woe is me like oh but like it is like kind of aggravating honestly because like bro just I'm gonna state the obvious like but getting oral it just sucks it's just not gonna like you know, my girlfriend used to be able to. I don't want to be vulgar, and so like I don't. I like shy away from sharing this kind of stuff, but I think it's relevant here. So like my girlfriend used to be able to like deep throat, and that went away really quickly when I started doing PE because yeah, like like I said, I started out statistically huge in girth. I started out at like 6 inches midsection erect girth and then ended up at 6.5 and it's like you know doing that at 6 inches girth is a pretty fucking crazy feat but at 6.5 it's just not gonna happen it's just really not gonna happen it's not a thing it's not a thing that happens man so Carl basically what I'm saying is this I gained over 2 inches in length and I've helped a lot of guys to make really profound gains in length. So I feel pretty uniquely qualified to speak on length. As far as girth goes, I am right now sort of assembling my thought process on the matter with the guys that I'm training currently because I have theories that I'm putting into practice and for the most part they're working out but one of the reasons that I don't really talk about girth work a lot is because again my personal experience with it was very limited in that I actually tried to do everything I could to not gain girth and so you know I've got things that are working I've got things that I'm having my guys do that are working but I sort of shy away from trying I sort of shy away from telling people like oh, this is exactly what you need to do for girth because I'm just not. I have thoughts, but they haven't been battle tested yet, if that makes sense. So, like, I can tell you how to gain length, and all of my guys gain length, like that. But, you know, all my guys that are looking for girth, they're doing so. They're doing so. But again, it's too early for me to tell, like, how effective my methods are for that. So, We'll see. We will see. Um, I meant what BD was explaining. It's almost the same. Yes, longer than recovery pumping, but I just called it like that. No, so what BD talked about is not the same. BD called his method feeder sets, and what I do is not the same. Perf pumping or recovery pumping is a practice that was decided upon based on the overwhelming agreed upon numbers in clinical rehabilitation settings. Okay, so when I say 10 minutes broken up into two sets at 5 inches of mercury, that's because if you draw a Venn diagram of all the times and pressures that have ever been studied in PE, most every study can agree that 5 inches of mercury for 10 minutes broken into two sets is like it's okay in almost every setting. So that's why I say that. How long should you wait to see increase in pre-session bone press stretch flaccid length to see if you're growing? How long is too long before making adjustments? Typically, I tell people like wait 2 or 3 weeks. If you don't grow at least a millimeter in like 2 weeks, go up slightly. Slightly. And typically, I'm in favor of going up in time before tension. Mr. Novelties, I'm 7.75 bone press with max EQ. After 20 minutes inside the apex, I can stretch it up to 9.25. I measured bone pressed while using the apex. I'm using 57 millimeters of tension. I'm not sure if that's a question. Like, you just made a statement. Do you see careers in scientific study of PE in the near future opening up? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there are guys in urology who are doing this already. It's just not a mainstream thing yet. And so, yeah. Perv McGirth, dude, that's funny. Perv McGirth, killing me. That's funny. Does your program also include hard clamping? For example, with the Fenrir clamp. By the way, what do you think about it? Yeah, my program does include hard clamping under very specific under very specific constraints. It's not my first thing to go to, if that's what you're asking. What do I think about the Fenrir clamp? I got M9 sent me one of the Fenrir clamps back when it was still like it's like a pretty new thing. He was still kind of like, you know, battle testing it. I like it. I don't like that it can't, and this has nothing to do with the design. This is just a limitation of like me being, having a fat pad. I don't like that. For me, it sits way above my actual base, like my actual, where my penis exits my body. So it sits like 2 inches up my actual dick, and that's a combination of like where the clamp actually, creates pressure and my anatomy. So it's just unavoidable, I think. Hi, 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 hi. What's up? What's going on? Um, do you active work for remoduling Apex? Do you active work for remoduling Apex? I'm gonna give you a chance to say that again. 2 inch length gains with your program, in what time is this relative to years? 2 years, 3 years? Honestly, I don't answer that question for a very specific reason. I don't answer how long it took me because it's not relevant. How long it took me is of no consequence to anyone at all. So it's not even a question that I answer because, again, PE works. And the thing is, like, it works. So you have to decide if you're going to do it or not. And that's all you have to decide. If the decision comes down to you saying, yes, I'll do PE, but only if I can get it done in this amount of time, then just don't do it. I'm not trying to that sounds way more mean than I'm trying to mean it to be. I'm just saying, like, me answering that question for you is not going to help you because it's not going to set an expectation for you. It has nothing to do with you. So I just don't see how, I don't see how me answering that question helps anybody. It works. Here's the thing. If you do PE, your dick will be bigger in a year than it would have if you didn't do PE. So, yeah. Should you progress in recovery pumping? I think about it would be as a squat. If you can squat 600 pounds of recovery training, would be at 225. The answer is no. No, you should not progress your recovery pumping. You want to know why? Because the level of pressure inside your penis that a normal erection is doesn't change. So your growth stimulus from pumping may need to change. It may need to go up in pressure and time over time. But the pressure, the internal pressure of a normal erection for you, it's not going to go up. It's not going to go up over time. So no, that's not what we're doing. Recovery pumping is not about causing a growth stimulus. So it's always going to be 10 minutes. It's always going to be 5 inches of mercury. Do not progress your recovery pumping. If you progress your recovery pumping, then it's not recovery pumping anymore. So yeah, it's not like training in that, because in training you're talking about like a percentage, okay, of your 1 rep max. So yes, there are certain loads that you need to aim for in order to like recover, but what we're mimicking here has nothing to do with the percentage. It's not relative ever. The only thing that recovery pumping is ever relative to is your erection. And your erection doesn't progress over time. It's not going to change. So it's always going to be the same. If you're thinking about progressing your recovery pumping, then you have it in your mind that we need to like progress this because it's something that we're using like as a growth stimulus. It's not. Growth stimuluses do not, like, growth stimuluses will change. Recovery stimuli will not. Like if you take hot baths to recover or cold baths to recover, you don't need hotter and hotter hot baths, and you don't need colder and colder cold baths. That's not how recovery works. So no, don't change it. If you progress your recovery pumping, it's not recovery pumping anymore. It's just pumping at a lower pressure. Two inches is not possible to make a 2-inch glow up for length. I don't know what you're saying, dude. If you're saying 2 inches is not possible, then yeah, it is. I really love how you speak. I really love how you speak, calm and intelligent. I hope to see you grow on YouTube. Bro, I have to contain myself because I don't know, sometimes I feel like I talk way too like wild and shit. Like sometimes I feel like I'm like too aggressive. So I appreciate that. Saving this live right. Is that a question? want to know how to close the gap, and I don't have a pump to do the Perv McSwerve pumping. All I have is manuals and before my routine, blah, 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 measurements. Closing the gap, bro, you need a pump. You just need a pump. I'm sorry. And that's the thing is like, I'm not even saying that because I want you to like buy my shit. So like, you don't even have to buy mine. I don't care if you buy one off Amazon. You need a pump. Closing the gap with manuals, like you might be able to do it with like some base holds and stuff and just like getting lots of erections throughout the day. That would be a bitch, honestly, dude. That's all I can say to that is like you just need a pump, dude. Yeah. Uh oh man. Is recovery pumping important for length and girth gains? Yeah, it's important for both of them. It's important. Recovery pumping is important for penis health. We don't do recovery pumping just to grow. We do recovery pumping for penis health because a healthier reproductive organ is going to accommodate to stressors better and faster. So, um, is there room to improve your extender? What do you think? I have some things that I'm going to do to the extender, but it's mostly just quality of life stuff. Like it's just these things that most people would just not. You would notice it if you had one apex in one hand and the other in the other hand, but it's literally just these things like increasing durability, ease of use, smoothness. It's not like big things because in terms of big things, like no, there aren't actually that many things that I think we could do to the apex to make it more functional. And the fact of the matter is, like, could are there things that I could do to make it like more aesthetically pleasing and stuff? Yeah, I'm sure there are. Yeah, but here's the thing. Think of it like this: everything that I do to the apex ends up costing you guys money. So, like, could I make it prettier? Yes. But do you want to pay an extra $15 for your penis extender to be nickel plated or zinc plated? I don't. I think it's a tool. I don't give a fuck if my hammer is chrome plated. It's a tool. So, what's the highest pressure you wouldn't go past? I don't know, man. I don't know if that's a. Why the fuck did my screen just go white? No idea what. Okay. Anyways, what's the highest pressure you wouldn't go past? I don't know that that's a productive question, man. Because I think it depends. I think it really depends on. I think it really depends on a lot of things. But I think the biggest thing that it sort of depends on is like, are you using the minimum pressure that you need to actually grow? If that's the case, then I just don't think that most people are going to get to pressures that are like ungodly. I don't think it's outrageous. I don't think it's like outrageous or out of this world to see guys pumping at like 12 inches of mercury. I just don't think it's actually necessary. And that's the thing is like, we need to be trying to do as little as necessary, not as much as possible. Bro, I'm like 10 minutes behind in this chat. Slow down, slow down. Let me catch up. God. Uh, Perv, have you. You guys gotta stop fat fingering your comments. I already have such a problem reading because I'm stupid. Perv, have you found. Okay, I saw where you edited it. Perv, have you found that people who suffer from the cord cannot gain length were able to make gains using an extender with more time under tension? No, it's not about adding more time under tension. No, it's actually about doing soft tissue work to normalize the tissue texture. So steel cord is not something you just muscle through. No, you need soft tissue work. You need direct soft tissue work. So I teach my coaching guys, I teach my coaching guys specific types of like massage. I know that BD does like scraping, and that got in vogue. And the thing is, you have to understand, like, I was a soft tissue practitioner for 15 years that did instrument assisted soft tissue work, and I don't recommend that people do that to themselves. Okay, so like I am quite literally an expert on the subject material. Like within my field, I am known as an expert on instrument assisted soft tissue work, and I recommend against people using tools on their penis. Learn how to use your hands, learn how to feel the tissue. You're going to be much better off for that. So no, it's not about using, if you have steel cord, no, you need soft tissue work. You don't need more time under tension and stuff. I'm confused on why growth pumping would have to progress in pressure if your erection pressure doesn't change. Because we're not simply relying on creating an internal pressure that is the same as the erection. We're relying on being able to create forces that cause us to get past our maximal size by a few percent. So that's always going to require an increasing stimuli, whether it's time or tension. You are going to have to go up eventually. Now, I think you need to go up way slower than most people do. But no, you're always going to have to progress because so recovery pumping doesn't go up because your erection pressure is never going to go up. Training pumping is always going to have to go up because the bigger and thicker that you make the tissue, the more stimuli you're going to need to deform it past its maximum size. It's crazy how the three goats are 9 inches or close and 6 inches or more of girth. I don't think that's weird. I think that it just shows that we're all fucking crazy about what we do. So there is this kind of thing where it's like, yeah, all of these big PE guys are just fucking huge, and it's like, well, yeah, because that's that's the direct result of us getting all of the knowledge and doing all of this, experimenting to like gain the basis of knowledge that we have. You know what I mean? You guys wouldn't listen to us. It makes no sense to listen to a fucking guru who hasn't gained any size. You know what I mean? So, anyways, bought an Apex and I've been using it for 2 weeks. Love it. Way better than manuals. Yeah, no shit, dude. Manuals are difficult. Boss Pops, I have no idea. Like, dude, in order for me to answer that question, you would have to give me so much more information than you possibly can in chat. I can't possibly tell you why you personally can't increase your BPEL, even though you're recovery pumping. Recovery pumping doesn't guarantee you gains. Like, it's not a magic thing. And there's just my guy, I have a questionnaire that's like 40 questions long that I have to have my coaching clients answer. And then it takes me another 2 weeks on that of practical applications of watching them do an introductory program and gathering data. So, like, I can't possibly tell you why you aren't growing. If it takes me 2 weeks and an intake form that's this long for my actual coaching clients, then I can't. I mean, there's no way that I would possibly give you any kind of like really useful information. So, is recovery pumping good for nerve damage? So, yes, unless the nerve damage is from pumping or PE adjacent. Yeah. Hi, Destroyer 1911. You have a 1911 handgun? Is that, I'm assuming? I really don't know that you yourself believe in what you're saying, but adding 5 centimeters is not documented and probably not possible in general. You can't add more than 2 to 2.5 centimeters. I don't know. My guy, I have the pictures to prove it. I literally grew more than 2 inches. I don't know why this is such a hard thing for you to digest. Like, I'm not out here bullshitting and being like, oh yeah, I gained this much and I have no proof of it. Like everybody in the PE world, like M9, Hink, Beatty, all actually watched me do it because I talked to them at the very beginning of my PE journey. So like I'm not out here just spitting. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like I'm not lying. I actually did it and there is photographic and video proof of it. So it is possible. It is not only possible, it has happened a lot. So I don't know if you're just here to like troll me or whatever, but yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know where your sources are coming from, but you're saying adding 5 centimeters is not documented. It's documented. It is very well documented that people have done that. In general, you can't add more than 2 to 2.5 centimeters. Where is that documented? That's not true. That's just not true at all. I'm sorry. Like you're actually just wrong. Um, there are so many people that have gained 2 centimeters that it's like unbelievable that you would be shocked that somebody could do just double than that. Like I squat 900 pounds. Is that normal? No, but I've fucking done it. And so it's just kind of like you're saying like, oh, well, the average person, only squats like 225. It's like, yeah, and I mean, just by the way that statistics works, we can guarantee you that somebody's done 4 times as much as that. Booty music. Oh, this dude wins. This guy gets it. He gets the free Apex. Booty music. He did it. Thank you for talking about the scraping. Yeah, dude, 100%. Listen, I'll be honest with you, and BD knows that I feel this way. We were talking, I had been talking to BD. We had been texting back and forth, and I had been talking about the soft tissue work that I was doing. And then, like, the next day, he had a video that was on scraping. And I straight up told him, I was like, I don't love this. I don't love that you did that. And I don't think it's a great thing, to be honest. Again, I love BD. There's not even a but. Like it's like I love BD. Um, he does jump the gun sometimes. Like the history of mine and BD's friendship is that we'll be talking about something and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I've got this thing I'm trying out and I haven't like released it publicly to the PE world. Like I haven't let anybody know about it. I'm thinking about it. Like here's how it's worked for me for the past few months. I'm like probably gonna cook on it for like another 3 months before I tell anybody about it. And oh, you've already made a video. Oh, you already made a video on it since we've been talking in this conversation, and now everybody's doing this thing. Okay, that's fine. I just used to not be able to beat him to making YouTube videos, and that's the thing is like I used to just like not make content, and so it fell to him to be the one that was like relaying all this information to people. So good morning from Las Vegas. What's up, dude? Shout out from Las Vegas. Have fun gaming. Bro, I'm not even playing this freaking game. All I'm doing is talking to you butt faces about dick stuff. Like, too many of you joined the live stream. This is dumb. Should I go up in pump cylinder radius if I touch the cylinder wall? No. It depends on how much pressure you're using, how much time you're using, how much expansion you're getting, and whether your goal is like length pumping, whether your goal is length or girth. So yeah. 1911s are my favorite. 1911s are cool, but those are some finicky bitches. I've seen 1911s have more problems with more ammo than anything, whereas like an M&P or a Glock can just use You can use ammo that you got from the fucking Dollar General and it'll work. Whereas 1911s, I've literally seen 1911s get like jammed with like federal, ammunition and shit. So it's just, I don't know. They're cool. When I think of 1911s, I think of like the old guys at all of the competitions because it's always old guys with their 1911s. Two Learning 57 says he's 69 years old. Hell yeah, dog. Dude, get after it. Fuck it up, dude. Fuck up your goals. Man, age is just a number and I love to see it when people are like embodying that because like I would like to think that I'm still going to be training and doing all this stuff whenever I'm your age. And so, thank you for being an example to us. Thank you for being, just somebody that we can look to in the community to say, "Hey, look, goals are goals." And we're never gonna grow out of like this isn't a phase. So yeah, I appreciate it, man. How do you view Carl Wickman's milking for recovery? I don't know enough about the technique to comment on it. Generally, I think Carl puts out some really helpful stuff. From what I know about the technique, I mean, it seems pretty obvious. Will I do another live with Hank? Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely do another live with Hank. I just don't know when our schedules are gonna like align for that to actually happen. Yo, Perv, I have the hog extender. How do you feel about the hog extender? I'm gonna make a change over to the Apex extender. No comment. How do I feel about the hog extender? I can't necessarily feel too fucking bad about it because it's a copy of the thing that I invented. So if I shit on the hog extender, I'm literally gonna be like actually just shitting on my design. Bro, you skipped my question. I'm sorry. There's only 95 people on here asking every question. Sorry. Uh, what game are you playing? Final Fantasy 14 online, man. I'm trying to get into this MMO thing. I like it so far. Could you do a rant on bundles? You had a good take on your old podcast, but I can't find it. Yeah, so okay, bundled extending is one of these things where like honestly, people just like here's the reason the Apex doesn't need a bigger bundled knob. It's because bundled knobs are fucking stupid. It's a gimmick and it just increases the cost of your device. You literally unhook your dick, twist your dick, and then hook it back in. And that's it. The thing that I don't like about bundled extending knobs is that they have everybody convinced that you need to bundle way more than you need to actually get gains. Here's the fact. This is a fact. I've tested this. When you bundle more than like uh when you bundle more than like 130 degrees or so, um you are imparting more circumferential force than you are longitudinal force, and so you end up actually fucking up your elongation. So if you're doing girth work, then do bundled extending and do at least a complete turn. If you're doing length work, you don't need to bundle that much. It's fucking stupid. So just don't do it. I respect your work and I've been in PE for 2 years, but I really think that additions over 2 centimeters are not possible without being related to an erection. In my opinion, pure growth of centimeters max. I'm sorry, that's a baseless claim. It's a baseless claim, and you have nothing to back that up with. And that's the thing is that I just don't understand. I don't understand where your contention is from with this because it's like I've done it, several other people have done it. It's been documented, and so I'm not sure what your hangup is. I'm not quite clear if you're just saying that I'm lying or not because that's kind of what it comes down to is if you don't think that it's possible, then the only other interpretation of your comment is that I'm lying. Which again, I could understand if you said that, if I didn't have pictures and videos of it happening in real life as a fact. So, what's a good air pump, manual or automatic? Okay, so honestly, for the price, the the one that BD sells, the one on peakmalephysique.com, and I'm not affiliated with them. I don't make money off of him making money. I just actually, so I sell it. I'm out of stock, and I'm not gonna be back in stock for a while because of fucking Chinese New Year and shit. So the the little black unit that BD sells on Peak Male Physique is fucking goated, dude. It will do automatic intervals for you of 1 to 10 minutes. So you can literally cycle it through, and you can make it do 1 minute intervals, 2 minute, all the way up to 10 minutes. Goated. So while there are things like rapid interval pumping and pulse pumping and things like that that are a little bit more popular, you are like, if you get to the point where you are really really focusing on that kind of stuff, you're majoring in the minors. Don't you don't need to worry yourself so much about doing rapid interval pumping and things like that, unless you're trying to like troubleshoot and problem solve. Those are advanced techniques. So we don't need advanced techniques in non-advanced cases. And 90% of you guys are not in an advanced case. You're just not. So interval pumping for like 2 minutes or even 1 minute, perfectly fine. You definitely have to spend for a proper 1911. No cheap crap. Bro, okay, yes, I agree. So like here's the thing is that my father actually bought a car 1911, and I mean that's a brand, you know. And that bitch would hang up every other time. And then my other friend had a Smith and Wesson 1911. Same thing. They would just, meanwhile I'm over here just slamming ammo downrange through my M&P 2.0. I'm like mag dumping on this bitch. I did hanging and pumping for about a year and had some results, but stopped cold turkey and lost all my gains. Now 1 year without hanging and zero motivation. Now small D guy. Okay, here's the thing, man. PE is like this: easy come, easy go. All right. If you make gains really fast, you're gonna lose gains really fast. So that's just the way of it. Like I could go on about this concept, but really the summary of the point that I'm trying to make is easy come, easy go. If you gain really fast, guess what? You're going to lose that really fast. This is why you guys shouldn't be paying attention to people who gain really fast in the very beginning, because those motherfuckers are the same people that show up 2 years later and then they'll say 2 years PE, no gains, and then they'll be like, oh, you know, I gained really fast in the first 3 months. And these are the motherfuckers who just like put on 1 pound more every day that they train, and they do that for 2 months. And then, you know, they're hanging 75 pounds and their dick is, you know, an inch longer, bone press stretched. And then it never translates to erect gains. And then they're on Reddit 2 years later talking about how they haven't seen any gains because now their dick is literally made out of like fucking pine straw, and you know it's just like dry, gristly, cracked shit. So yeah. um yeah, you asked me, okay, so you asked me what's the max you can gain. There's not an answer to that. There's no possible way that anybody could answer that question. I'm sorry to be so like blunt about that, but that's not a, the stats that you provided, like saying you're 4.7 by 4, 22-year old, 100 kilograms, you know, 180 centimeter in height. What's the max you can gain? There's not an answer to that. There's not. Could have swore I saw you at the airport, perv. Not unless you were there like last January. Oh, snap, that's crazy how people will use your ideas and fly with it. That's crazy. Yeah, and the thing is, if they would just copy me properly, if they would actually just make a one-to-one clone of the Apex, they would have been better off. But like the real telling thing about it is that like the real thing that you can tell about other people who make shit and they don't actually do PE successfully is because they actually omitted some of the most important details about the extender, and it's just such a glaringly obvious thing. It's like you don't understand basic biomechanics, you don't understand PE because like you made these changes that you thought were an improvement when it was really just like it just kind of cut your cost, and you thought that I did something stupid or needlessly. Like one of the examples I'll give you is that the Apex has a steel bar across the top that can shift, and most people are like, oh, the devices that are straight across like are an improvement on that. No, they're not. They're not. I wasn't lacking for money when I designed the Apex. I wasn't trying to be cheap with it. It actually costs more to make it the way that I make it than if we 3D printed a single piece. So the fact that the Apex can tilt is a feature. It's just that people who clone my shit clearly don't understand why that's necessary. And I'm not going to tell them why it is. It's just that it makes some things a lot harder, and it actually confuses the measurements. The measurement that you're reading out, if your extender has one solid piece on the top, the measurements that you're reading out on the sides are not what you're actually getting. There's a very simple reason for why. But again, I'm not going to help people that are ripping my shit off, so they can keep making stuff that clearly just shows they don't fucking understand. What are you playing? Bezoro. Oh, I know you from Discord. I know you from Discord. Yeah. You're the dude that's on Discord. I recognize your little you have the Thor thumbnail. I'm playing Final Fantasy 14. Do you think it makes much of a difference pumping starting erect versus flaccid? Here's the thing. Most of the clinical studies that we have that are done on pumping have actually been done in post-surgery cases and people with erectile dysfunction. So they couldn't get erect if they wanted to. So the fact of the matter is that most of the studies that we have looking at pumping and showing that it's beneficial are done. They have been done on people couldn't get an erection if they wanted to. So do I think it matters? I think it's probably better if you can get an erection before going into it. But like, do I think it's a prerequisite for gains? No, it's not. Because again, look at those studies. No way those guys were getting erections before they're going into the pump. All right. Chill out with the questions for like, give me like 10 minutes, guys. Chill. uh, I appreciate you doing this live stream, dude. I appreciate you being here, man. I honestly like just hopped on because I was bored. I didn't think there was gonna be fucking 50 of you at a time, just like watching this. I'm honestly getting almost zero playing my game done. Anyways, this live stream is brought to you by White Monster because I'm fucking tired. White Monster should sponsor me. You think I should just like post this here and be like, post my penis pump with this White Monster? It's here somewhere. Here you go. White Monster and a penis pump. This is for those of you who I just want to explain this. This isn't dirty. This is coconut oil that I have in here. When I'm done pumping, I spray coconut oil in this for the next session. So I go ahead and actually like fill this with coconut oil. I use a coconut oil spray. So I don't have like a dirty penis pump. I just have it. There you go. I just have it pre-lubed for the next session. I actually want that there. For any of you who've been wondering, I finally bought an LA pump. This is it, by the way. Because I wanted a custom cylinder. Like, I wanted to try. Because, like, I'm kind of at the point where if I'm doing, like, length pumping, a 9-inch cylinder, like, I actually will end up sort of hitting the top of, like, a 9-inch cylinder. So I didn't want to go to a 12-inch cylinder because the more dead space, the more air that you actually have in a cylinder, the slower it pressurizes and depressurizes. So I wanted a 10-inch cylinder, and the only company that could do that was LA Pump. And this bitch was like $89, or no, these are like $89 before you select a custom option. So like getting a 10-inch, I was like, bro, that's expensive, dude. Like, I don't have money like that. But it's nice. It is nice. It is really nice. It's well made. I like the really thick. I like the really thick like walls that it has, and the fact that it's actually got like a rounded flange on it. So it's nice. I like it. But it is expensive, and nobody needs it if they. I started 3 months ago. I'm following BD's interval length routine. After every extending session, my tunica is tight and cold. Impossible to get a good fatigue percentage measurement. Do I need a decon? First of all, let's stop making statements about our tunica, because you can't possibly isolate and identify the temperature of one thing. I am quite literally a soft tissue expert, and I would never venture to say like, oh, this is how the tunica feels, like precisely like me. Okay. My hands are like literal MRI machines. Like, the amount of precision that you develop over a lifetime of doing soft tissue work, it is ungodly. I have literally, this isn't a flex. This is just me explaining to you what happens over the course of 15 years of you working with soft tissue. I have correctly identified shit with my fingers that people have needed to confirm with x-rays. That's not a flex. That's just a fact. And I'm saying that only to say, even as good at palpation as I am, I would never say like, oh, my tunica feels like this. What you're feeling is your penis. You're feeling your penis get cold and stuff after extending. And that's fine. You just do some fire goat rolls. Take your penis between your hands and just do this all the way up. Just go like you're starting a fire. They're named fire goat rolls after the guy who I think like invented them back on like some old PE forum. I don't know. Perv, what do you think is the function behind bundle stretching? I've always thought the tunica would be less stretchable, but people say they gain quicker, surprisingly. Well, yeah. So I'm not going to say I invented bundled stretching, because I didn't. I invented bundled extending, though. I actually did do that 100%, because no extender on the market could handle bundles in it. You couldn't do it. That's why I invented the predecessor of the Apex was the Frankenstender. I invented the Frankenstender with a stabilizing top bar, and now all the extenders on the market copied that design. The reason that I invented that top bar was so that the device wouldn't twist when you did bundles. So yeah, I basically came up with bundled extending. And the reason that people gain is because you are softening the tunica. You are, stretching it in a non-longitudinal manner. So yeah, it's serving its function. Shut up, guys. God, I should just stop trying to play this game because this live stream is like, I'm never gonna do this again. I'm never gonna try and talk. Like, also, it's weird. I don't know why I keep having to touch. I'm doing this on my phone, and I keep having to touch the phone to bring up the chat. The chat won't just fucking stay up. When will the traction gauge release for the Stealth? Soon. That's a good. Thank you for bringing that up because that's something that I left that idea behind in 2025. I got so busy with other things. I bought the Apex a few years ago. Still looks brand new even after frequent use. I mean, that's what happens when you just like make stuff with quality in mind, honestly. Is my original idea with the Apex, like the metal Apex, was I wanted people to literally have to put this thing in a fucking will to their children. Arc Raiders. I gotta try Arc Raiders, apparently. Yeah, helpful info on the oil. Okay, yeah. So check this out. This is this is what I use. So it's called Spectrum Culinary. Spectrum Culinary. You get this on Amazon. It is a non-stick cooking spray. Now, here's the thing. I recommend you actually getting. I got this because they didn't have the one that I usually use. The one that I usually use is an organic coconut oil spray. But dude, it's primo because like literally you just take your spray. Of course that happens on camera. It's okay. It happens to me too, little spray can. Son of a bitch. The coconut oil has frozen in the nozzle. So there we go. So you just spray like this, and I just rotate it. And then I just take a little bit, and then beep, 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 go around like that. Fully lubricated. So, yeah, that's my little contribution to the PE life hack community because that really is a huge hack. Trying to come up with I actually am trying to develop a product that's going to be like a PE pumping spray. So I've only actually seen one product on the market thus far that is a PE specific lubricant, and I think it's okay. It's aloe based, which I do like. But there are a lot of things that we could do that are a little bit better for it, and potentially we could incorporate like some topical nutrient delivery. That's all I'll say about that. You have a video on length pumping? Yeah, I have a video called Length Pumping is Stupid. If Carl Wickman is still in the comments, please like pop off because Carl wrote a whole ass article about my video Length Pumping is Stupid, and he was attacking me. He wasn't actually attacking me. In all fairness, it was a misunderstanding. Carl didn't actually watch the whole video. And so Carl was giving a incomplete account of what I said in the video. And he was defending length pumping from things that I didn't actually say in the video. And at the 13-minute mark in my video, length pumping is stupid. And yes, that's how well I remember it. At the 13-minute mark, I actually make very clear, distinct disclaimers that Carl didn't watch. And we talked about it afterwards because I approached, I didn't approach him. I mean, you can't really approach anybody online. But I talked to him and I made sure it was well known that he was misrepresenting my video, and it was just a case of he didn't actually watch it all the way through, because at the 13-minute mark, I made some very, very clear statements about length pumping that afterwards, um, again, he wasn't attacking me, but he did change the way that he talked about it after being sort of fully informed about what the entirety of the video was, because it was a little clickbaity, saying length pumping is stupid. Not entirely clickbaity, because length pumping is stupid. If that's your only thing that you're doing for length, it's just inefficient. It really is. And I don't think anybody can debate that. It's inefficient. So, yeah. After extending to 20 minutes, my D feels like a wet noodle. Is this an example of tissue fatigue or overworking? I don't know, brother. You got to measure ball. It's like there's no way for me to like. There's no way for me to tell you, unless you were in front of me and I was actually holding your limp penis in my hand, which I'm not gonna do. Maybe if you pay me enough. Honestly, definitely if you pay me enough. Yeah, definitely if you pay me enough. But there's no way that I could tell you, dog. Do you have any alternatives to 3M micropore tape that won't rip the skin off of my dickhead? I don't like the water method because I've gotten blisters. Well, here's the thing, dude. Nobody's ever gotten blistered doing the water method like I actually say. It's just not. It's just because the thing is, everybody loves to say they're doing the water method, and nobody does the water method like I fucking described it. So the thing is, everybody's like, "Oh, dude, Perv, I made the cookies. Like that recipe that you posted for cookies. I tried to make Perv's world famous cookies, and it's like they sucked ass. It's like, no, my cookies didn't suck ass. You suck at following directions. My cookies are fucking awesome, but people like to say they're doing certain things that I promoted or taught, and then they do them incorrectly, and then they tell me that my methods suck. And it's like, dog, you took my recipe for world and you cut the sugar in half and you doubled the salt, and then you're like, no, no, they don't. And that's the thing, dog, is like if you did the water trick as I described it, which I go on to detail in my first video about the water trick. I literally go on to detail how you need to use half the weight for half the time for 2 weeks at least. And nobody has gotten a blister by doing that. I've yet to hear one person say, like, I followed your example of doing half the weight for half the time for at least 2 weeks, working my way slowly up over the course of 2 weeks, and I still got blisters. I've never heard of anybody doing that. To answer your question, do I have an alternative to 3M tape that won't rip your dick off? Yes. Kinesiology tape. KT tape, dynamic tape, rock tape, they're actually all better. If you buy the waterproof rock tape and you use it combined with the water method, that is goated. I have a product that I am releasing soon that is going to solve all of the world's blistering problems. I can't go into detail about it, but it is going to be such a quick, easy, painless thing. Basically, it takes 10 seconds to do this thing to just completely eliminate all the fucking worry about blisters. That's not an exaggeration. 10 seconds. What do you think, glands caps? I think the only time that I've ever really gotten a fucking huge blister was with the glands cap, so I think they're trash. I got both the new Apex models, got the black one first, then saw the brass model and had to have it because brass. Same. I mean, bundle stretching. Yeah, dude, I can't really exchange it right now, man. Or sorry, I can't really explain it right now, dude. You just need to go like watch a video or read an article. You look skinnier today. Oh, well, I'm actually losing a lot of weight, dude. Like, I got up to like 310 pounds a few months ago. And you want to know what the secret is? The secret is being hospitalized and nearly dying from pneumonia. I lost 70 pounds in 3 weeks because I was hooked up to a ventilator and nearly died. That's why my fucking arms are skinny too. Like, sorry. I haven't talked about it much. I don't want to talk about it right now. I will talk about it when I'm ready. But I was hospitalized 6 months ago, and I was paralyzed and put on a ventilator for 3 weeks. And I did. I dropped 70 pounds and I got severe nerve damage. And if any of you guys watched me before, like recently, you'll know that I used to be jacked. And now I have fucking scrawny ass arms and I don't have traps. My shoulders are gone and I just look doughy as fuck. And it's because losing 70 pounds in 3 weeks, you lose predominantly muscle tissue. So my metabolism was fucked. And when I actually woke up, when I regained consciousness, I was actually paralyzed from the shoulders out. I had severe nerve crush injuries from the way that they had to position me from when I was intubated and unconscious. And so, like, I'll show you guys, like, this is actually... It's actually taken me a long time to be able to get to where I can lift my arms. And there's still like a section of range of motion that my arms don't want to like move through. But yeah, that's why I look like shit. And so many people have been like just genuinely unkind lately, and they've been like, "You look fat. You need to lose weight." And I'm like, I agree, but the context for it is was 310 pounds, and then I lost 70 pounds of pure fucking muscle. And it's taken me 6 months to regain the function in my upper arms, and my lower legs were paralyzed. My left quad, hamstring, and abductors, as well as my left calf and ankle, were just completely... I came home in a walker. I literally couldn't walk by myself. I couldn't use the bathroom by myself. I couldn't do anything. So I literally went from squatting 900 pounds and training regularly to being paralyzed. And I couldn't even get into my own bed. Like, my girlfriend had to... I set up on the couch here in my living room for about 2 months because I just couldn't... My bed is like my hip height, and I just couldn't get into it. So I'm trying, man. I'm trying to lose weight. It's kind of depressing, honestly, because like you go from benching 600 to benching 5-pound weights, just laying in the floor. It's humbling, man. But I appreciate you saying that. I am trying. I'm trying to, get back on it. It's rough though. But thing is, I almost died. And I didn't die. And so I'm happy. I'm happy to be alive, man. I'm happy to be alive. I'm fortunate to be alive. The doctors were preparing my family for me to not make it. And so that was a very real possibility. And several of my organs were actually shutting down, and they were basically putting me on transplant lists. And honestly, dude, like, I just pulled through. And they said that was a result of how much muscle I had at the time, because they were just like, had he been any smaller, had he actually been like a normal sized human being, like, nobody can lose that much muscle and survive it. So yeah, I just kept pulling through, and they were just like, it's his age and it's his level of conditioning and health that's like really showing right now, because pulled through. So Anyways, not trying to be all heavy and shit. But yeah. Perv, what pump do you use? Right now, I'm testing a pump. Right now, I'm testing the Smart Track. But like, dude, that is too expensive for most people. The pump that I actually recommend people get is the one off of Peak Male Physique. Just get the pump that BD sells, the auto pump. It's awesome. Thoughts on lotion method? It's fine. It's viable. It's good. What was the cause? Again, I'm not really ready to talk about it, man. And I'm sorry to be like I don't want to be like, ooh, so mysterious and whatever. It's not that. It's just that I'm just not ready to talk about it, you know. Glad you're feeling better. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Um Yeah, I use resistance band for shoulder work. Yeah, I do. I've actually got a whole setup over here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll rotate it. So I've actually got a whole setup over here. That's my Thompson fat pad. I lay that in the floor to bench. I've got a TRX that I hook up for some stretching and stuff. Beside that, I have a bunch. You can't see it really, but that's a ring that I have mounted into the wall, and it's got every freaking resistance band. Um, got every freaking resistance band tied to it. So yeah, I use resistance bands for my shoulder for sure, man. Is it because of the cell? Are you saying sleeve? Is it because of the sleeve? I don't know. You said cell V. Am I being stupid? Am I saying something weird? I don't know, man. Really happy you're still perv. Yeah, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, the mobility. So like, I finally actually, I can finally get my arms up over my head. Like I couldn't do that. Like literally, I couldn't do this. Okay, I could not raise my hands up over my head. I couldn't do that 2 weeks ago. When I came home, I couldn't move them almost at all. Like it was hard enough for me to use a walker. Like I was literally like, you imagine? Okay, imagine squatting like 800 pounds and then waking up 3 or 4 weeks later nearly paralyzed and having to use a walker to take a shit or to go anywhere in your house and getting exhausted walking from the den to the bathroom. Bro, it was wild. I'm happy to be here, man. Happy to be here, honestly. Yeah, you're talking about like having the discipline to do all the rehab and stuff, bro. It's funny because like my physical therapist, I knew him from powerlifting, and we had a conversation about it because I was just like, I attack my recovery and my physical therapy. I attack it with the same discipline and intensity that I did my 900-pound squat. I take it just as seriously, and I think that that's one of the reasons that I came as far as I did, as fast as I did, because you know, as soon as I regained consciousness in the hospital, like the first thing that I was doing is I would angle the bed so that it was like angled down, and I would just do like leg presses off of the like bottom of the hospital bed. Like that's how much I was like, all right, gotta hit it, like gotta start. So, um, Did your terrible traumatic experience draw you closer to religion or push you further away? That's a heavy question. So, the word religion comes from the Latin word religare, which means to bind or to fasten together. And it serves as a better descriptor of things that we do in a traditional manner, traditions, rites, things like that. I have never felt that I had the best relationship with religion formally. I have always been a person who draws a very specific type of doctrine and philosophy from theology. I think that when you nearly die, you reprioritize things, and I think that that's normal. I think that that just kind of happens because all of a sudden you break the illusion of the mundane and the monotonous. You get out of the everyday because you just nearly fucking died. So I think that things just become a little bit more precious to you. And so it didn't necessarily change my approach to religion. It didn't necessarily draw me closer to religion or push me further away from religion at all. Um, because I think I'm happy to say I had a pretty good focus on that to begin with. I had my thoughts and philosophies in place beforehand, and so it wasn't necessarily something that an event like that was going to push me away or draw me closer. I sort of feel like I had my thoughts already figured out on that subject, if that makes sense. TRX made by a Navy SEAL. Yeah, so you want to know what's funny? I was actually in the commercial for the original TRX Force. The TRX Force, which is the military version that they came out. I was in the fucking commercial. I was at an event in Columbia, South Carolina, where TRX they were promoting this because it hadn't released yet, and they kind of grabbed me again. This is like when I was a lot leaner. I was still powerlifting, but I was powerlifting as like a 198, so I was a lot leaner. So all that to say, like I looked good on camera, and they like grabbed me and they were like, "Hey, do you want to do like a, we're filming a commercial. We'd like you to be on it." And so I'm like, "Hell yeah!" Because they told me they were like, "We'll give you a free TRX Force." And so I was like, "Yeah, dude, free shit, of course." And like they didn't even have me doing anything on the TRX. They had me doing like medicine ball slams. But I was like happy to be involved, and of course I got a free TRX Force, which like later on I discovered are like fucking $400 or something like that. So I was like, what in God's name is this thing so expensive for? But yeah, TRX is cool. It's a cool tool, and it's something that I've actually always used. Like even when I was at my strongest, like you can do a lot with a TRX, man. Like my squat and deadlift, or sorry, my bench and deadlift were up over 600 pounds, and my squat was like 800 900 pounds, and I would still use the TRX. So like, don't sleep on it, because I think people will sleep on it, thinking like, oh, like I dumbbell press 120s for reps, and it's like, don't sleep on it. It's a training tool, and if you're the more intelligent you are, the more you see possibilities for all training tools. Do you have to use an O2 concentrator or a CPAP? Yes. I started using a CPAP years ago proactively. So the world's strongest powerlifter was Donnie Thompson. Donnie Thompson was my training partner and mentor for years. Donnie told me when he said, if you're going to decide to be a 220 or above, you need to proactively use a CPAP just for recovery. Like don't wait to get issues. Don't wait to have sleep apnea or issues like that. proactively use it. So I started using a CPAP when I hit the 220 part. Because here's the funny thing. It doesn't matter if you're obese or if you're lean. Your neck circumference is the primary determining factor or predicting factor for you having sleep apnea. It doesn't matter. You can be lean as fuck. If your neck is big, it causes obstruction. It doesn't matter if it has nothing to do with whether you're obese or whether you're lean. If your neck is big, you're going to have problems with obstruction. So, yeah, I use a CPAP. I love my CPAP. Ray talking about wanting to use an ADS as your only length method due to not having any privacy at home. I want to use it at work, but not sure how to approach it since there isn't any way to track the tension. Yeah, so here's how this works. You still need to track your fatigue. So like at the beginning of the day before you put the ADS on, put it on and then set it, and you should start with a tension that you can't actually feel. That's the secret to using an ADS. If you feel the tension, it's too high. If you feel it, if you're like, oh, that's a good stretch, it's too high. So at the end of the day, when you're done wearing it, measure your bone press stretch flaccid length. If you're not hitting 2%, then go up slightly. Just adjust it, just tighten it a little bit. So it's the same as extending or hanging. You don't actually need to know how much weight you're using. You can determine if it's enough or not just by measure at the beginning of the day before you put it on and measure at the end of the day when you take it off. If you're 2% longer, then good. And measure your bone press stretch flaccid length, and you should see it go up from, you know, every 2 to 3 weeks. You should see it go up. Are you going to make a comeback documentary from your physical trauma? Bro, I wish I had taken pictures of myself when I got out of the hospital because, like, my cheeks were sunken. That's why I went away for so long. That's why I didn't show my face on camera for so long. Because I looked like a corpse. My cheeks were all sunken and shit. And, like, here's the thing. I was actually way skinnier than I was 310 and I lost 70 pounds. I am currently 260 pounds. So I'm heavier now than I was when I got out of the hospital, which needed to happen. I needed to gain some weight back. I wish I had taken photos because I looked like a fucking ghoul from Fallout. Like, straight up, I looked like a corpse. I don't know if anybody's interested in that, man. Like, would people really be interested in that? Because, like, I haven't really started squatting or benching or deadlifting yet. I've got all my shit here in my living room. Like, I've got my TRX, I've got my dumbbells that go up to 50 pounds. I got some kettlebells and stuff. And, like, I basically just roll out a yoga mat and do my physical therapy and my training in my den right now. Because, bro, everything's so heavy still. Everything is so heavy. Like, you guys cannot imagine. Like when I came home from the hospital, I would lay on the floor and I would just press my hands. So just the act of like bench pressing my hands, the weight of my arms was enough to fatigue me. I felt tired afterwards. So I was literally laying in the floor and I was just doing this. I was like reaching and stretching, and that was it. And I would sit on the sofa. I would do like box squats to my sofa. So I would like sit on the sofa, get off the sofa. Sit on the sofa, get off the sofa. And that was tiring. It was tiring, dude. So, like, I'll be honest with you, dude. I'm embarrassed because I look like shit right now. I am fat and my arms are small. And, like, I'm just embarrassed to like be on video. And there is like a humility thing, man. There's like a aspect of it that I'm like, I know some people aren't gonna understand. So if I put out videos of me just like squatting the bar or squatting like 135, like I know there are gonna be people that are like shitty with me about it because I'm supposedly this world record holding powerlifter. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I don't know that I can necessarily explain to people every single fucking video. It's like, hey, yeah, I was paralyzed and nearly died. So yeah, I don't know, man. I might. I notice your name is J Rod. Are you one of my training clients? Are you the J Rod that I coach? Perv, what pressure do you find most safe and yet still leads to gains when interval pumping? That's not a question that I or anybody else can answer for you. The guidelines are the guidelines for a reason, because if you look at the guidelines, people will say 5 to 7 inches of mercury. And they're generic ass guidelines for a reason, because that's the only guidelines that we can say like, hey, this is probably safe for most people. So no, you're not the J Rod. Okay, because I have a coaching client who's named J Rod, and he's actually like um, a guy that's I started with, really early on, and he's a cool guy. He's an awesome guy. I like all of the guys that I coach. I know that sounds like bullshit, but I actually like all of the guys that I coach, except for like maybe one or two. That's not true. I like all the guys that I coach. So, all right, I'm caught up. You guys can actually ask some more questions now. Well, what HG do you pump at? Here's the thing. That's kind of like you asking me like what I squat. It doesn't matter what I squat, like, because that's not going to help you. And I know these sound like really dickish, like non-helpful answers, but the truth is, like, I would actually be being irresponsible. I would be being an asshole if I told you a number, because if I just threw out a number, it would be arbitrary. It would not be relevant to you. And so it's kind of like you asking like what I bench. And that's the thing, dude. It's just like, well, what I bench is enough for me to work on my bench. Like, it's not going to help you. It's not going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to help you get your bench bigger. What you have to do is you have to learn to track your numbers. If you haven't watched my video on tracking your length and stuff, then you need to watch that. And if you're not willing to like put in the effort to track your stuff so that you can actually find out what's the most effective pressure for you, then I may recommend that you just find a better hobby, because like PE is very complex. And so if you're not willing to put in the effort to track stuff to find out what's best for you, and you're always going to just rely on other people telling you exactly what to do, you're not going to go very far, because prescriptive recommendations are nearly useless, dude. And that's the thing, is that you have to understand, like, I'm actually trying to give a fuck about you. I'm actually trying to be, dude, who's being real with you and like actually giving you an answer. And the answer is, you need to figure out what's optimal for yourself. And if somebody tells you a number, if you ask that question to anybody else and they tell you a number, they don't give a fuck about you. They are just spitting out a number to like sound like they know what the fuck they're talking about. So like I said, start with 5 to 7 inches of mercury and track. I would say start at the low end, start at 5 inches of mercury, and then track. See if you get 2% elongation after your session. It's the only way you're gonna come up with the answer to that question, dog. Like, there's nobody that can tell you for a fact other than like God, His actual self. Nobody can tell you what the most optimal pressure is for you. Started pumping about 2 months ago. 4 sets of 5 minutes. Max pressure is 6 inches of mercury. Will this be too little to get gains? I don't know, dude. Measure your elongation. Again, like, nobody can tell you the answer to this. You just have to learn how to measure. There's not going to be anybody that's like going to be able to pop up and tell you, yes, that's enough or that's too little. You just have to measure. And if you measure, you'll know immediately. You'll literally have the answer right there. Will a bigger, girthier D affect a very high erection angle? Yeah. Because the bigger and heavier it is, the more of a moment arm you create. Or, yeah, the. So it's like when you're taking a tire off of a car and they give you the little crowbar, you know, that you have to like, and you put like a breaker bar on top of that like makes it this much longer, and then all of a sudden you can grab it way out here and you're like, and it just goes off easy. That's how a lever arm works. And so if that thing is heavier, yeah, it's going to be way easier for it to drop your erection angle. I've been doing PE on and off since 2009. I get what you're saying. Is your tracking video on YouTube or on the hub? It's here. It's here. Look it up. It's specifically, there are a lot of them that you could look up, but I think my most recent one, it's talking about it's talking about tracking an extender, but like, I don't know, dude. I covered the topic in a lot of videos, so just kind of like rifle through some of my videos. So yeah. Dude talking about getting 5% elongation during a session and temporarily increases to 21 centimeters. My understanding is that over time this adaptation should carry over so that my baseline before a session gradually increases. Yeah, yeah. You're not wrong. Yeah, eventually, so that's why I give people a feedback form to fill out, and they fill it out for me every week. And typically they fill it out multiple times a week. And on the feedback form, it is starting bone press stretch flaccid length. That means like when we started training, like months ago, when we started training together. The next thing is current bone press stretch. Starting bone press stretched, starting erect length, current bone press stretched, current erect length, and then post session stretched flaccid. And eventually you'll see all of those numbers go up. They won't go up at the same time or at the same rate. But over time, you're looking for all of those numbers to go up. And depending on which one of them go up fastest or slowest, that's how you know what to do with your training. So yeah. So Ray talking about he's purchased every sleeve size from NASA Novelties and cup size, struggling to maintain a seal. Do I have any recommendations? Yeah, dude. You may actually just not have luck with Chinese cups. Like, you may actually just need to buy like a Total Man cup. Total Man cups are like some of the best cups out there. I think Total Man cups are like the best cups. I love them. BD hates them for some reason. I don't know why. BD likes Chinese cups though. So like, if you like Chinese cups, you probably wouldn't like Total Man cups because they're nothing alike. So I get that. My anatomy sits really well in a Total Man cup. Some people's anatomy sits really well in a Chinese cup. Yeah. I didn't come up with this. So this guy says, how did you come up with the 2% elongation theory? I didn't come up with the 2% elongation theory. Beatty didn't come up with it either. He's the one that made it popular. But the thing is, the 2% elongation theory is only a theory in PE. It's been proven in other areas. It's been proven whenever we look at collagen-rich tissues like tendons, and so we actually know how this works in other areas of the body. We're just extrapolating it and saying that it probably works in PE, which it does seem to do. But it's from clinical data on things like ACL tears and bicep tendon tears and stuff like that. So I didn't come up with it. Beatty popularized it, and Beatty based it off of the information that comes out of the world of soft tissue, specifically post-surgery and post-injury outcomes relating to ACL and bicep tendon rehab. I actually did a session of shockwave therapy and P-shot to get rid of fibrosis I had from low testosterone. So starting pumping and low dose of tadalafil, gained an inch back. Dude, hell yeah. Strong work. Your videos are helping me keep a good, healthy tool as well as Hank's. I'm happy, man. I'm proud to be helpful to you, and that's huge, man. That's me getting to be a part of guys' PE journey means so much to me because on a daily basis I get to see that this is not just about making your dick bigger, dude. PE is at its most like gross 10,000 foot. Yes, it's about making your dick bigger, but there's a lot of why guys even want to do that in the first place. A lot of it is traumatic, dude. A lot of it is trauma. Lots of my guys came to the PE world after some not cool stuff happened to them, man, whether it was in a locker room or an ex-girlfriend or something like that. A lot of guys are just hurt, and it sucks. Low testosterone, by the way, if any of you guys are wondering, low testosterone can increase or can decrease the quality of erections. It can decrease the frequency of erections, and you get shrinkage from fibrosis happening from low testosterone doesn't directly cause fibrosis. Low testosterone causes decreases in erection quality and erection frequency. That causes fibrosis. So this dude did the P-shot and shockwave therapy and gained an inch. Strong work. After getting 5% elongation and doing one more set with it, in 2 hours I lose my elongation. Will I still make gains like this, or do I need to hold the elongation? Do I need an ADS to hold the elongation? No, you don't need to hold the elongation. No. The thing is, when you hit 2% elongation, you just triggered the cells to start an adaptation response. Okay? If you get out of the extender or hanger or pump and you lose your elongation in 2 hours, that's fine, because you already triggered those cells to start doing work to create more tissue. So, no, you don't. Am I still using the routine that I recorded years ago? No, I'm not using that routine because I quit PE. I quit PE a while ago. I quit PE more than a year ago because I got to my goal length and then I passed my goal length and sex was unnecessarily hard. Sex was like just getting, like, my girlfriend and I have sex a lot. And so the thing is, neither one of us really wanted to like warm up for fucking 45 minutes before we could have sex. Like, when you're having sex very often, if that shit becomes like labor intensive, it's for the birds. So honestly, I quit PE and I lost like a half inch, and I could not have been more happy about it. Question that you're asking is that do I do anything different, or did I do anything different from the PE routine that I put up on Pornhub? Yes, I didn't pump beforehand. That was an experiment, and a lot of people took that video as me saying like to pump beforehand. No, that was just an experiment that I was doing at the point in time that I recorded that routine. So don't do that unless you want blisters. You started after a bad divorce. Makes sense, man. Mad love, Perv. Thanks for helping. Dude, thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here, man. Honestly, I appreciate you being here, dude. If it's not too personal, what is your current size? Come on, we're on YouTube and I talk about my penis for a living. What more privacy could I possibly have to sacrifice? I am currently 8.25 by 6.5. And again, that's after losing like a half inch because I just kind of stopped PE. And I wanted to lose size. And I did, thankfully. Now, had I wanted to maintain that size, I would have just kept going. But it's like I said earlier on in the chat, like easy come, easy go. And the last half of an inch, like that I did, was a sprint. I gained it so fast that when I stopped, it just went away, which was fine with me. I was experimenting with some things that I recommend as a matter of course for my PE guys, but I grew unnecessarily fast. And again, it just made things really difficult in bed, and I was like not happy about it. And my girlfriend, like, she didn't bitch about it, but she was very happy when I lost size. So to me, that was like the ultimate deciding factor. I was like, I'm not making life better on either one of us, so it's whatever. A lot of guys will be like, oh, like girlfriends can adapt. Like, oh, girls can adapt over time. Yeah, no, to a degree. And then past that, no, they can't. And anybody that debates that is just not really thinking about the frequency or intensity that we have to work to do PE to cause lasting changes in our tissue. They have the same type of tissue. And so anybody that's like, oh yeah, just having frequent sex will like stretch them out or make them it will to a degree, but no, I lost half an inch, and there are still moments with my girlfriend, and there are still moments where I kind of wish I didn't go as big. I don't regret it. I would do it all over again. Absolutely. Am I happy with my size? Absolutely. Is my girlfriend happy with my size? Absolutely. But there are just like some positions and stuff where we still get like moments. And so you just got to chill out and like take your time and stuff. Which again, isn't like always fun when you're having sex so often. Like you kind of just want to have sex for like 45 minutes and be good, you know, because it's like, we're just going to do this again later today or tomorrow. And so it's like, we don't need 3-hour warm up, you know, we don't need to listen to like John Mayer's greatest hits. Like, no, I'm trying to like, you know, hit it and quit it. Like I got work to do. So if 2% elongation is the target during a stretch session, is that the end point, or should I continue after reaching 2%? Hit 2% typically and then stay there for 10 or 20 minutes. And whether or not that's going to stick around for you is literally something that you just need to track. So hit 2% and then stay there for 10 minutes. Track your bone press stretch flaccid length. And if your BPSFL doesn't go up, then obviously you need to stay there a little bit longer, or you need a higher percentage of elongation. Do you measure post-extending bone press stretch flaccid length before or after pumping? I measured BPSFL after the whole training session. So everything that I did, it was pre-training session and post-training session. Not pre-extending, post-extending, pre-pump, post-pump. No, fuck that. I did that at one point in time, and I found that I wasn't getting any additional elongation from pumping, which is fine. And I didn't stop pumping because that's not why I used the pump to begin with. So Very important to hear there is really a limit to enjoyable length and size. Can you tell us what size were you before losing half an inch? Yeah, I just did. I hit 8.7. I had 8.7 erect length. And that shit sounds cool, but anybody that like if you're 8.7, you cannot casually have sex. You can't. You just can't casually have sex. It turns into a fucking event, and that is not what my life wanted to be about. Like, my girlfriend and I want to have sex too much for that to be the reality of the situation. And so I lost a half an inch. Thank God. And like I said, even still, there are like owl moments, and like I have to like sort of chill out sometimes, which is fine. Again, I think everybody should be considerate of their lover. And yes, like there's all this information about like warming your partner up and like doing all this stuff and using lube. And yes, that's all true. It's all very important. But it depends on your situation. If you're like my girlfriend and I, who we like to have sex a lot, you're not gonna fuck for like 3 hours twice a day. You're not. Like, so yeah, it's just I just didn't want to spend fucking half the time warming up and using a bucket full of lube. Anyways, yeah, there really is a limit to enjoyable length and size. There is. What's your flaccid hang? Lol, are you like a hard shower? No. No, I'm a grower. I'm not like a hard grower. Um, I think I calculated it one time because there was some data that there was a study that showed that your tunica thickness actually has to do with whether you're a grower or a shower, and you determine that by determining what percentage of your erect length your flaccid length is. So I was categorized as a large shower, which meant that I was in like the high 40%. So I was like 45% of my erect length. So technically I was a shower, according to this one study, who basically, they said growers are 50% and under, and showers are 50% and over. And it directly relates to tunica thickness. So if you are a grower, it's because you have a thinner tunica. If you're a shower, it's because you have a thicker tunica. So think about that. That's actually a really, interesting concept. How much do you charge for coaching? Well, it's not really relevant because I don't have any coaching spots open right now, unfortunately. Dude, Ray, like honestly, brother, I can't tell you, I can't answer you like these specific questions. Man, there's like I said earlier in the live stream, dude. Like it takes me a 40 question health history form with my clients, and then 2 weeks of gathering baseline data to get me to the point where I can make solid recommendations about them. So I can't answer individual questions like that, man. As much as I want to, like, if I tried to answer your question right now, it would be me just bullshitting you. I would just be giving you a fucking answer to, like, sound like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. But it's because I know what the fuck I'm talking about that I'm telling you I can't answer that. So I'm sorry, man. I cannot, and I honestly make it a rule to not give prescriptive information because it's dangerous. It puts me in really bad positions, as far as being responsible for what I say. What would be the perfect size? You want to know what the perfect size is? Literally the perfect size? Ask your girlfriend. At six, at 7 by 6 non-bone press, is that above average on the size scale? No, it's not above average if you're a fucking elephant. Are you kidding? Is that a serious question? You don't know if 7 by 6 non-bone press is above average? 2 a day sex is a dream for some of us. I mean, it's cool. I'm not gonna lie, like it's cool. It's just like I think it's also just like what you make of it in your relationship. Like sex has always been a big part of my relationship with my girlfriend, and I just think that that comes from us both like being really health and wellness oriented. Like she's a healthy girl, and healthy girls are horny girls. Like healthy is horny, and that's just the thing. Is like I think that a lot of guys think like women don't want as much sex as men. Not my experience. Not my experience at all. Especially like when girls focus on getting healthy, when girls start like training in the gym, like they just feel better, they feel like they look better, and they tend to be fucking horny all the time. So if you have a problem with your wife not wanting sex as much as you do, lead by example, go to the gym, make her your new training buddy, and I can damn near promise you that she'll want to fuck more than she does right now. I don't make many recommendations. Like I don't know. I don't make many guarantees, but I can almost guarantee you that like just because of the hormonal impact and the physiological, like the psychological impact of like, looking better and feeling like you look better. Also, if you want your girlfriend or wife to fuck you more than they are right now, clean your fucking room. Here's a science experiment for you. If you clean your entire house from top to bottom and your wife doesn't want to fuck you, then you have a problem. You want to know how to turn your girl on? Clean your house. Clean your house. She'll jump your shit as soon as she walks through the door. Yeah, so Ray, you're like I understand now that you're just telling me what your plan is, and you want my opinion on it. And the thing that I'm telling you is, it it your plan is potentially viable. You just need to measure to ultimately find out whether it's sufficient or not. You know, what is this like? Jim, I don't even know what this like. What the fuck is this emoji? Is that like a little dude flipping me off? Like, what is that? I don't even know. Do growers have a harder time gaining? No. No, growers theoretically have an easier time gaining because our tunica is thinner. Does ADS help to materialize gains faster due to ECM reorganization and fiber alignment? um, the most scientific answer that we can possibly give is it may. I think it does. BD agrees with me. That's why I came out with the Apex Stealth, because I started seeing in practice that it was helping. Do I think everybody needs to use an ADS? And do I think it will result in huge benefits over not using an ADS? No. I don't think so. You're right, brother. After my girl started going to the gym, she wants fucking dick all the time. Bro, you're telling me, okay, I've literally been in 2 very long-term relationships with 2 very, active women. And my girlfriend right now, she was very overweight when we met. She lost like 80 pounds. And just she'd been overweight her entire life. Like she was over 200 pounds when she was 12 years old. So the fact of the matter is, like, every year that my girlfriend is alive is the hottest that she's ever been in her life. because we've been together for 5 years, and she has continuously made progress. Every single year, she gets like a little bit better. So it's like every year she's alive, and she's 37. We're both 37. Every year she is alive, she is the hottest that she's ever been, and she looks so good now. Like compared to when, like especially compared to when we met, she is so fine. Fuck. So yeah, if you get in the gym with your girl, I just don't see how it's like not going to improve libido. All right, just a couple more problems. Just a couple more because like I've been on here for like 2 hours now, so like literally like one or two more questions. So I'm sorry, I cannot answer. I can't answer questions like how much do you think I can reach with an extender and pump in only a couple of years? There's no fucking body on the planet that can answer that, dude. And the fact of the matter is, you're going to decide to do PE or not. And if you're only going to do PE if somebody can guarantee you that you'll gain this much size, then just stop. Like, just don't do it. Honestly. Again, I'm not trying to be a dick. That's just the way things are. That's just the fact. It's like, um, anybody that gives you an answer to that question is a dumbass. I'm not a dumbass. I know what I'm talking about. I've done this long enough. I've done this long enough to know that there's not an answer to that question. That's the difference. Do you think PRP and Shockwave could help materialize gains? Um, yeah. That's. I don't even think that's up for debate. uh, yeah, we got evidence to show that, man. Trust the process. Got it. Yeah, dude. That's the thing, man. It's like all I can tell you is like, and again, I don't want to come off like a dick and be like, you're either gonna fucking do this or not. You have to make up your goddamn mind. Like, I'm not like that. What I am saying is that like anybody that gives you a number, they are lying. They're just lying. Like, there's no fucking way. Like, only God Himself would be able to tell you exactly what you're going to gain or like what are realistic gains because there are just too many variables, man. There's like, I don't know you. I don't know what your body type is like. I don't know what your level of fitness is. I don't know what your hormones are like. I don't know what your training is like. I don't know, dude. Like, and so that's the thing is like asking somebody what's a realistic, what's the most you can expect to gain within a couple of years. I don't know, a minimum of nothing and a maximum of like 2 or 3 inches. That's literally because people have done everything in between that. Maybe not 3 inches, but 2 inches. I mean, I'm one of those people. So, yeah. Trust the process. That's it, man. How to fix nerd neck that's causing migraines. Okay, so forward head posture with a dowager's hump. Okay, so what a dowager's hump is, this dowager's hump is an accumulation of soft tissue right at the C7. And so it happens from really bad forward head posture because our cervical vertebrae are not attached to ribs. And so we have a lot of musculature that holds our ribs in position. It holds our thoracic spine in position while our neck can actually pivot. Sorry, it can bend, it can express flexion and extension. So how you fix nerd neck is you give yourself the biggest double chin you possibly can. Okay, so watch this. You literally take your hand and you push like this. So what that does is that opens up the space at the base of your neck, right between your occiput and your atlanto-occipital joint. So your atlas, your C1, and your occiput. There are these muscles that go across your atlas and your occiput. They're called your suboccipital muscles. We call them the ghost headache muscles. So they're the muscles that are responsible for causing your migraines. And that is because they disconnect, they disorient the foramen in the base of the skull from the foramen that's in the atlanto-occipital joint. So the hole that goes down through your skull where your spinal cord actually goes. So you compromise cerebrospinal fluid flow, and you are occluding that space, so you are causing compression on nerves. So really, the goal there is to open up the suboccipital space, and you do that by simply pressing the head back So we push, make a big fat double chin, press and hold. 30 seconds at a time, a total of 60 to 90 seconds. And you'll fix it. It's like not hard. It's such a prominent thing that's not hard. So DIY shock therapy device at home. I can't say that's not something that I would not do. But is it dumb? Yeah, probably. Is it something I would do? Also, probably. Is it something that I can publicly recommend to you on YouTube? No. Oh, God. Any evidence that GH boosting peptides help with gain? No, there's no evidence. There's anecdotal evidence, but we can't separate it from like normal PE. Anyways, appreciate you, brother. Glad you're alive and getting better. Thank you, man. I appreciate it too. I'm glad I'm alive too. Happy to be here. But anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with me while I suck at Final Fantasy Online. If you are not already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really does help me. I appreciate all you being here. All your comments and likes and stuff really, really help me to know what to make. Sometimes I'm not entirely sure what kind of content people need me to make. And so when you subscribe and when you're watching my videos and when you comment especially, it really does help me. So I appreciate that. And you know, I'm new at YouTubing, and so I really do appreciate all the help that everybody's given me in terms of like giving me a direction, giving me things to talk about and stuff. And so I appreciate it. But yeah. What is this ding dong content? What the fuck is that? Your dog looks chilled? Yeah, dude. Hey. Come here. Come here. Snack? You want a snack? Yeah, you do. You want a snack? Come here. So I'll show you this. This is fun. Kiss. Bye. Kiss. That's my favorite trick. Out of all the things that I've taught him, check. So, check. And then, hey. Kiss. And then, bark. No. Hey. Bark. 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 That's, yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining mine and Wally's live stream. And we will talk to you guys next time. Thank you all for joining. Really do appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you guys later.